What's going on, guys? So a lot of you have heard that I got my dream car, my Hellcat Gladiator, and I've been keeping it a little secret. I haven't shown any pictures or anything yet because I wanted to make this video and show all of you and kind of give a more in-depth review of it rather than just being like, here it is in a photo. So I'm happy to show you my new Hellcat Gladiator. Firstly, as you can see right off the bat, it looks pretty tough. I completely agree with you. I guess I'm just gonna kind of come over here and just have you take a look right at the front end. You can kind of get a good look. So I got Toyo MTs. These are 40s, all right? I had Toyo RT. I've had Toyos on all my Wranglers, and I usually had 35s, 37s with the, dream car. I figured let's go big or go home. So this is a 40-inch tire, 4-inch lift. On top of that, obviously with the tire, you got the fuel rims. I've had fuel on two out of my three. I have fuel on my two-door and then this one. I like the way fuels look, personally. This is really close to my two-door if you've seen a picture of it. I really like that look, so I figured, why not keep it? It's got Fox shocks, as you can see, and you can kind of get a little bit of an angle with that. The front end of this is a grumper grill, which I gotta be honest with you, the first time I looked at it, I was like, I don't know if I like that. But then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I think I like that a lot. So this is a grumper. That's what the name of this grill is. Unique look, not your typical front end. Another thing I would just comment on is the fenders. Iron cross. Fenders for me, I'm always a more minimalistic fender kind of guy. I like to see the shocks. I like to see all the tire. I like to see the workings in there. And if you look down there too, these are more minimal fenders. Part of the way that I like Jeeps built and like my Jeeps built out is more mechanic, like minimalistic look. So this, I know some of you are gonna laugh at me for this. I already know. I can already see the comments. You open the door and a step comes out. I don't need the step. It's nice to have. It's a nice little feature. One thing I will say too, the paint. So this was all modded out by Starwood. I didn't say that at the beginning. This was all modded out by Starwood Motors, all right? And the paint job on this is their classic matte black. And if you really get in here, you can almost hear it. It's kind of textured. I don't want to say it is Rhino liner because I think it's a bit different from that. But obviously it adds a level of protection on the paint and it looks awesome in my opinion as well. Muffler, so the exhaust. Obviously with the Hellcat engine, I wanted to kind of have a beefy sound coming out the back. Magnaflow. And once again, I'm just kind of naming these here and there just so you guys have an idea of what I put on here, and I'm not getting super in depth on what I put on. And then the last thing, I guess, is really just the back end of this. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When I first saw Gladiators, I didn't really like them. When I looked at them, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think I like Wranglers more. But the more that I've looked at this thing, the more I've really, what I've realized is I don't like Wrangler stock either, And once I modded this thing out and have the look of this thing, it turned out incredible. All this pops off. So this top end pops off. I can take this whole thing off. I can take this off. I can take these doors off and have it completely open, which is arguably one of my favorite things about Jeeps to begin with. So I guess we can, get to the fun part, the engine, the real deal of this thing. All of this is completely redone. And I'm gonna turn it on in a little bit so you can hear it. But basically, so obviously under here, you have a lot of these different things, right? There's a lot happening. This is the engine, SRT, this is the Hellcat. So this is the main baby, all right? If I had to just put this in computer terms, that's the CPU, all right? Then you got the supercharger right here, right next to it, obviously. That's the whine that you hear and you will hear in a second when I get this thing going. And then the cold air intake is sitting right here. When it comes to what's under the hood, there's a lot more, obviously, but just for simplicity's sake, those are kind of the three major parts. I showed you a little bit of the engine, and now I think it's time to start this puppy up. Let's start it up so you can hear this puppy. All right, so here's the plan. So I just started it up. I'm gonna give it a little gas, all right, a little bit. And I am gonna drive it a little bit. I'm not gonna burn it out. A lot of you are telling me to burn this thing out. It's my baby, I'm not doing that yet. I'm gonna give it a little gas so you can hear, all right? That little whine you're hearing, that's the supercharger. That's arguably one of my favorite parts of this whole thing. I know the engine is huge and it's great, but I love the sound of that supercharger. So now I'm gonna have my wife, Alexis, go to the back end, and I'm gonna turn it on so you can kind of hear the back end of it when you rev it and turn it on, all right? So you can see there's some different sounds, obviously. The front end, you have the supercharger and the engine and the whine, and then the back end, you got kind of the guttural, which is awesome. So, all right. So you've seen everything, you've heard it a little bit, but it's time to kind of show you a little bit of what this thing can do, all right? This thing's got some pep. We were spinning there. I felt it. Wow, I haven't felt that yet. Man, that was spinning again. Woo! That's crazy. Man, that's awesome. So I've kind of showed you the outside, and now I kind of want to show you the inside, at least a little bit. Obviously, with this kind of a car, it's more about, you know, the mods than the interior, but there is some, you know, kind of cool stuff on the inside. So if you come in here, I'll go in the front. This right in here, basic Gladiator layout. This was not added. The 2020 Rubicon Gladiator, this is kind of stock, everything you're gonna see. So obviously, we don't need to worry about whether or not it's automatic or manual. That's besides the point. Pretty basic stuff on the inside here, nothing really crazy. But what I will say, I added a pretty beefy sound system that I do want to show you. So, subwoofers are underneath the back seat. So I got this is a JL audio system, right? And I got two of them in the back like that. And I just want to give you a little something, just so you can hear it. All right. Come here. So that was just a little bit of the sound system, and obviously with a car like this, you know, what I've found is I almost don't want to listen to music and I want to listen to the engine personally, but it's still nice to have, you know, tailgating it like Dave or something like that. It could be a good time. So obviously this is a little bit of a different kind of video. I just want to thank you all for watching. If you got to this point, if you enjoyed this and this type of video, be sure to drop a like on it. And I wanted to obviously, you know, show you all this car, and it really is like a dream come true. My whole life I've loved Jeeps. And I've always kind of had this idea from when I was a teenager, how cool would it be to have one of those big engines inside a Wrangler or a Gladiator like this. So thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it. All right, play the outro music.